A lot of Google Classroom is designed to be one-way directional information, the teacher sending information out to the students. However, you can utilize the two-way communication and really tap into the potential of this tool. From the Classwork tab, when we look at the three options to ask students for feedback, assignment, quiz, and question, these are really how we unlock the power of Google Classroom. I'll start with question really briefly. The idea of question is to ask your students a single formative assessment question on the way out the door. Here I've got an example essay question students can respond to. I love that Google gives me an option here for students to reply to each other. The nice thing about this is students will not see each other's responses until they submit an answer themselves first. The option for students to edit their answers is also nice if I wanted them to come back and possibly change their answer the next few days after a group discussion. If we wanted to switch this from a short answer to a multiple choice question, it's really nice. You scroll down and the options start showing up right away. You just start typing them in and they populate. Notice that you can't mark a correct answer here. These one question exit slip or warm-up or formative assessment checks are meant purely for that, not to take a summative grade on, just to see how the students are doing. When you're ready for your question to go live, you can press the blue button to ask it, or you can schedule it to go live at a later date. Here's an example of a question that a teacher used in the classroom. If I go back to the editing screen, you can see how they designed it. The question was given, instructions were skipped. She did put a point value, a due date, and a topic with this question, and I think that's a great way to do it. After she's collected responses, she can see along the top that she has a tab for student answers. Clicking on this allows you to quickly review your students' responses. Clicking on individual students on the left-hand side allows you to give numerical feedback, and if you need to give private comments, you can type them directly into the Google Classroom. When creating an assignment, you have a few additional options. Here I've got a sample assignment, and I'm going to add something from my Google Drive to show you those additional options. You can do this with any Google document. Here I'm going to add a Google slideshow, and you'll see that I have 3 additional options for how the students can interact with it. Depending on how I want my students to achieve the learning objective, depends on which one of these I'm going to select. The first option, students can view the file, is going to be chosen when I want the students just to be able to reference the attachment by itself. The second option, students can edit the file, means that all students will be editing the same file at one time. This does have some great opportunities for learning in the classroom, and I'll show you an example in just a second. The last option, make a copy for each student, is kind of like giving a digital handout of this assignment to every student. When the student clicks on this to open the file, it's going to automatically add their name to the file, and because it's all done digitally, you can monitor the file at all times. Here's an example of an assignment where the teacher attached Google documents but wanted to use them only for reference. If I go to the editing screen, I can see that this teacher attached them, but she selected students can view the files. These are 3 things she wanted her students to refer to as they were working on the assignment. Here's an additional example of an assignment where a teacher attached Google documents for the students to interact with. Checking on the editing screen, I can see the permissions that the teacher attached to each file. The Google Docs file was given the permissions of students can view the file. This was because this resource was used as a reference during the assignment. The Google Slides file was attached with the permissions where students can edit the file. This is because all of the students were editing the same Google slideshow. This allowed for the students to create a joint product for all students to be able to refer to at the end of class. Quiz assignments add another additional layer. It gives you this opportunity to create a Google form that can be used for automatic grading. The tricky thing is you have to set up the Google form first. I'll show you an example in just a second, but just know that I could offer an entire training on just designing Google Forms. It's one of my favorite tools out there, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to learn this if you would like. The last example I want to show is a quiz assessment. If I go back to the editing screen, I can see how this teacher set it up. The instructions are listed, the Google form was created. When I click on the Google form, I can see that this teacher has already pre-created a 5-point quiz that'll give the students feedback when they submit it. Controlling what that feedback is and when that feedback is released is all customizable, and if you'd like to explore that, you're going to have an opportunity to soon.